If you think about it, the state of mind we're in when we're excitedly planning and booking a holiday is quite different from the state of mind we're in when we're being threatened by a knife-wielding gang on some dodgy council estate. Studies looking at the workings of our brain suggest there are at least 3 distinctive emotional states or systems that we naturally move between. Each is comprised of a specific group of emotions which is supported by hormones, and each has evolved to perform a given set of tasks. For simplicity, I like to refer to them respectively as doing mode of mind, threat mode of mind, and being mode of mind. Why is it important that we become aware of this? As the mind switches from one kind of activity to another in a given day, our underlying mode of mind will automatically change along with it. It's a little like a car changing gears in response to varying traffic conditions encountered as it winds its way across town. And just as a car can only be in one gear at a time, so too we can only access one mode of mind at any given time. Applied mindfulness enables us to better notice our prevailing mode of mind. It also gives us the skill of intentionally stepping into a different mode of mind if it's in our interest to do so. Let's take a moment to consider each of these emotional states in turn, starting with doing mode of mind. Doing mode is our drive and resource-seeking system. As you might imagine, it's all about securing the resources that are important to our survival and prosperity. So it's responsible for our interest in finding a career, money, food, a sexual partner, and friends. Dopamine is the hormone most associated with this emotional system. It's a state characterized by anticipation and excitement, and a state that enables us to manage the routine details of our daily lives. Doing mode of mind works particularly well in helping us achieve our goals in everyday situations, and in solving the technical problems that we'll inevitably come up against. It's a mode by which we can respond to what we perceive as being a call to action, and indeed it's a mode that gets us out of all sorts of difficult situations. Because it's a state associated with creativity and problem solving, it's the one that underlies the most awe-inspiring accomplishments of our species. As human beings, we can be hugely proud of what we can achieve through critical analytical thinking. The ability we have in this area is a fantastic outcome of our evolutionary history. As I've indicated, there's often a problem-solving element to being in doing mode of mind. So before we go any further, it might be an idea for us to consider our default problem-solving thought process. It's called discrepancy-based thinking, and it involves careful analysis, problem-solving, judgment, and comparison. It essentially works on an ancient principle of closing the gap between the way things are and how we think they need to be. Any animal unable to do this would not survive very long. It wouldn't be able to perform such essential tasks as pouncing on prey, landing on a branch, or navigating its way back to its young. If we think about it, it's also the exact method we employ when driving our car. All the way across town, we simply narrow the gap between where we are and where we'd like to be. Because this strategy is very helpful when we are solving problems in our external world, it's not surprising we try to use it when things are not going well internally. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for emotional issues, which means things might end up going horribly wrong for us when we apply to this area of our life. There'll be more on this in future videos. Next, we have our threat mode of mind, which has evolved to help us detect and respond to danger. Our threat system is all about protection and survival. The stress hormone cortisol plays a significant role in this state, which operates with a set of brain networks involving, amongst others, a highly reactive part called the amygdala. In threat mode of mind, our flight, fight, freeze response gets activated, which in turn can trigger such uncomfortable feelings as fear, anxiety, jealousy, anger, and disgust. Interestingly, the brain gives greater priority to perceived threats than it does to the things that give us pleasure. Lastly, we come to being mode of mind, which is our soothing and affiliation system. This mode of mind neither involves a feeling of boredom, nor the expectancy-fueled excitement which we might experience when in doing mode of mind. Instead, in being mode of mind, we are satisfied with how things are. We feel safe, neither wanting nor striving. We experience inner peace and a different sort of happiness Somehow, the networks in our brain that are associated with soothing, fulfillment, and contentment are related to connection and compassion as well. As a result, the state of mind is also linked to kindness and affection, which means it often includes a state of connectedness to others. So, what is the chemistry involved here? Substances in our brain called endorphins are linked to a sense of peace and well-being. At the same time, the hormone oxytocin supports our feelings of social safety, and together they provide us with the sense of well-being that comes from feeling wanted, loved, and safe. We mostly experience these pleasant feelings when we are deeply connected to a person we care about, when we're in awe of the wonders and beauty of nature, or grounded in the present moment, as we might be during meditation. In his excellent book, The Compassionate Mind, Paul Gilbert reminds us that our brain has evolved to prioritize survival and reproduction over happiness. For this reason, low mood or negative emotion should not be seen as evidence that there's something wrong with us. Instead, they're to be accepted and worked with. Gilbert highlights some essential points that have derived from our understanding of the origins and nature of our emotions. Because our society has become obsessed with happiness, we tend to interpret any uncomfortable feelings we might have as an indication there's something wrong with us, which of course is not the case. So the first of Gilbert's points is that unpleasant feelings such as sadness, fear, anxiety, anger, and disgust are just a normal part of our emotional repertoire. They're to be expected, and they have a purpose. Many of the strong feelings we experience are designed to help us notice and respond to danger. And it's with good reason that protective emotions have gained priority in our brain and will easily override positive emotions. If a snarling leopard appears while we happen to be enjoying a leisurely picnic in the woods, we'd better quickly lose interest in the pleasure of our outdoor meal and make a hasty dash for safety. The second of Gilbert's points is that sometimes our emotional systems may be healthy and functioning well, but it is our circumstances that become problematic. For example, someone in a badly paid dead-end job with a toxic work environment may well become depressed. In such a case, a person's low mood is a natural response to a situation. The same is true if we're going through a bereavement. So we need to accept that some unpleasant emotions and reactions are perfectly normal and nothing to be ashamed of. Also, as we'll see in our next video, self-compassion sometimes requires us to find the courage to make necessary changes in our life. Gilbert's third point is that we're likely to experience emotional difficulty when our doing mode of mind and our threat mode of mind get out of balance with our being mode of mind. He suggests that happiness lies in us noticing and accepting the various ups and downs of life. He recommends that learning to balance our desires and emotions by developing and stimulating our soothing and affiliation system, in other words, our being mode of mind. This is where self-compassion and applied mindfulness really come into their own. Expect life to be different.